Greetings. Back with another one. Well, we waited and we waited. Well, I waited. I wanted to see how this was going to do. I wanted to get the weekend out of the way. And basically, as you can see right here from Breitbart, Snow White Bombs breaks records for lowest live action remake opening. Gee, I wonder why. Now, granted, all of the live action uh, bastardization of these timeless classics, none of them are better than the animated versions. None of, at least in my opinion, they're not. But yeah, I just wanted to read a little bit of this because it says with a dreadful 43 million opening. I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more than that. I thought it was at least going to break 100 million at least, but it said Snow White now holds the record for the lowest debut weekend of any Disney live action remakes. The previous record holder was 2019's Dumbo, which opened to 46 million. For the longest time, I didn't know Tim Burton directed that film. I didn't even know that. And from what I hear, he didn't really care about that. From what I hear from people, they said he said he regretted even shooting that movie. From what I hear, but it says this does not count the 29-year-old live action remake of 101 Dalmatians. Live action remake. I didn't even know they had that. Bro. Like I said, because I don't watch this stuff anymore, so which is not part of this current cycle. Nevertheless, the 1996 movie still open to 33.5 million. And in today's dollars, that would be 68 million. Like I said, I always record after I eat for some reason. I need to stop doing that, but over here hiccuping all over the place. Hell, if you account for the inflation, Dumbo 2019 opened to 57 million in today's dollars, which tells you just how poorly Snow Woke has been received. The news isn't any better for Snow Woke overseas. Previously, projections for the weekend's global haul hovered around any already pathetic 100 million by Monday. Well, today is Monday, so like I said, I'm not keeping up with the stuff currently. I mean, I watch a lot of people who keep up with the numbers and stuff like that. By Monday, the number will sit around 87 million. I need to know the budget. How much did they spend shooting this film? I need to know the budget. That's what I need to know. I'm sure it's well documented somewhere. Before promotion, this disaster cost 270 million. Okay, so that's the budget, 270 million. At this point, it's doubtful it will gross 270 million worldwide. And when you remove the 50% theater cut, the Disney grooming syndicate, the grooming syndicate is looking at a brutal loss. I like how they write this over at Breitbart. It's hilarious. Tee one of the latest excuses for the movie's failure is because the sycophants in the entertainment media will never have the moral courage to admit star Rachel Zegler's smug mouth or the movie's feminist nonsense turned people off. Yeah, I say this all the time. A lot of the Disney classics, the animated, a lot of people already know this, that a few of them were Grimm's Brothers fairy tales, and these books and then these tales were written in Germany, and so I mean, like a lot of these stories are over 100 years old. They're over a century old, and I like what they said over at Clownfish. The people over at Clownfish said that, like, Snow White is a very old story, so a lot of the younger generation may not care anyway. They probably just care because Rachel Zegler is young and stuff like that. She's an upcoming star and all that stuff. But like the people who are gonna mostly care are people of probably my generation. Like I'm in my late 30s, so we were the generation that saw the animated Disney Renaissance in the 80s and 90s. So, we grew up on that stuff. Obviously Snow White was 1937, way before my time. But when I started watching Disney films in the 80s and 90s, they were re-showing all of the older stuff. The Dumbos, the Jungle Books, and the Snow Whites, and the older stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, and it's just crazy how the fake news media wants to turn around and make everything Gal Gadot's fault. Gal Gadot didn't say anything reckless. I mean, Gal Gadot, she's always professional. She's not a PR nightmare. I mean, Rachel Zegler was the one who was crapping on the original. I mean, because like all of that footage that people keep showing of her, when she was doing all of the press for this film. I mean, she dogged the original, saying that it's dated and stuff like that, and just the way I see it, this is why you should not mess with people's nostalgia. If you are going to remake the classics, then keep them the way that they are. If you feel like you have to change anything or wokeify, then leave it alone. Just create a new idea. If you wanted Rachel Zegler to be this star, stuff like that, have her be a new Disney princess. I don't understand why they keep piggybacking on these IPs, thinking that just going to make them money if you just slap a familiar title to it, thinking that just calling something Snow White doesn't mean that's what it is. And from what I hear, for the people who saw it, I mean, they, changed a great deal of it, and it just wasn't good in terms of the execution. But like I said, I do believe that Rachel Zegler is the main reason. Well, obviously, no, not take that back. Honestly, Disney is the main reason. I mean, people have been sick of Disney for over a decade now. Ever since Disney went woke and started, doing all this crazy stuff. It like I said, because the targeted audience for Disney was always kids, families, and stuff like that. So once they decided to go against that and start pushing all of these weird agendas and this particular narrative that's not grasping the attention of the audience, a lot of people just went away. So Disney has nobody to blame but themselves for this. Rachel Zegler, like, obviously she did not help, because you don't want to hear your leading lady, bashing the original and just speaking so negative about stuff, and it's just unfortunate. But let me just keep on reading, and I'll continue to drone on. Is this anti-science piece of Disney butt smooching blather from the Penske Entertainment Media monopoly, Death Star? And I probably won't read all of this. I'm just gonna go. There's another thing when it comes to Snow White, and it has nothing to do with controversy. Rather, her age, that being in the Disney years, 88 years old. How does Little Mermaid open to 95.5 million over 3 days and do a 3-time multiple, a near 300 million domestic? How does Little Mermaid get away with it and Snow White can't? Well, I mean, I would say the only controversy around Little Mermaid when it came out is obviously Halle Bailey, when she's not Caucasian, right? So that, as far as I didn't see that either, but that was the only controversial thing that I heard about it, or that caught my ears, is just that they kind of did the race swapping thing. But other than that, I don't remember hearing anything else. And a lot of people said that Halle Bailey, and like, she can sing too, so they said that her voice was kind of close to the original actress who sung in the original films and stuff like that. But Halle Bailey, I mean, she's not the PR nightmare that Rachel Zegler is. I mean, yeah, she probably said, yeah, it's because of racism and why I didn't do well and stuff, which is the typical thing. But she wasn't insufferable like Rachel Zegler. I mean, Rachel Zegler just bashed half the country, saying that if you voted for Trump, then you deserve no peace or whatever the hell she said. It's just reckless. I mean, and it's sad because I mean she's a beautiful young woman. She has talent, but unfortunately under that pretty exterior and just lies a cold, mean douche. I mean, it's just sad, man. But where the hell am I? As we pointed out with Dumbo, these live action takes of older vintage Disney musicals and animated movies, i.e. Maleficent, Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians, they just open lower. They have darker, colder, classical themes which don't play to today's massive female audience. That's the damn truth. That is the truth. I mean, like I said, when you watch a lot of the older stuff, it is kind of, rugged in a way of terms of the humor. We've, in my personal opinion, we lost our sense of humor a lot. We now live in a time where everybody is just overly sensitive. They have zero tolerance for everything. They get offended by everything. I mean, it's a mess. And that was the one thing a lot of the classic films did. They put it a little bit of that morbid humor in there, just a little bit. They were still kid friendly for the most part, but it still had a little bit of humor that when you look at a current audience, they would just try to just take the piss out of it and just say this is wrong, and all this other stuff, and people just tired of it. Like I said, if you give us the classics, then give us just that. Give us exactly what we got, back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and stuff like that. If you feel that you have to wokeify, then create something new. Period. As you can see, to these people, Bob Iger's ass tastes like peppermint. Oh man. Let me see if got this straight. Snow White was humiliated at the box office this weekend, not because the star is obnoxiously Harden. I don't even know Harden. Not because it woke raped a timeless story with asinine feminism. No, it flopped because the original is really really old. I guess that's what other people are saying. Okay, but then why did the 2015 live action remake of the 65-year-old Cinderella 1950 open to 68 million domestic and go on to a 542 million global gross? Oh, and by the way, if you figure or inflation that 68 million in 2015 looks like 92 million today, which is pretty close to what the Little Mermaid did. No, Hollywood will never repair itself because no one will ever accept the truth about why Snow White bombed, even though everyone knows Disney and is regular alienating normal people and the movie sucks. Like I said, I have not seen it. And I'm sure that I would probably get some entertainment out of it because I watch films very technically as well. But based on some of the footage I've seen, to me, it's too much CGI. It's too much. It looked like green screen stuff. It's too much CGI. I don't know. I think they shot all of this on a sound stage. But me personally, when you have like these classic tales that are set particularly in the European countries and stuff like that, I mean, they still have castles, ancient castles in Germany, and countries like Scotland and Ireland and European countries and stuff like that. I don't know why they didn't choose to shoot this on location. I very much doubt they shot this on location. They probably just all did this on the soundstage somewhere. And the whole thing about the seven doors. Don't get me started with that. I mean, because from what I heard, the dwarf little people acting community, they are very hot about this. I mean, because like this was a role of a lifetime. Because how many doors do you see in films? Not a lot. You probably see them in like in a period piece, or if you're lucky, you could be like Wingman and Jackass. You could cast in that. But like I said, I mean, I can understand why the little community is very upset about this. I mean, it just. But anyway, let me finish reading. We'll see how Snow White does next weekend without any competition. But the stink on this smells kind of well. Marvel's yeah, I guess that's the end of it. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. It just and Trish Regan, who I watch, sometimes, she said something profound that I agree with. I mean, she's very big on finance and stuff like that. And from as far as the stocks, Disney stocks are going, everything is going down. I mean, I'm not really big on stocks. I try to follow it a little bit, but from what I hear, the Disney stock is just tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking. I think the only thing that's really keeping them up is probably their theme parks. I think the theme parks and the little cruise line and stuff that they have, I think that's probably what makes them the most money. But Miss Regan, she said something like I agree with. I think that Disney needs to just do away or possibly sell their entertainment side, their film side, because they are just losing money with all of these films. They're not breaking even anymore, and they haven't for a long time. I mean, I don't know. Is that Moana? Is that Disney? I don't know. But it's like they'll release like 10 films, and maybe 2 or 3 may come out good, and the rest of them they just do poorly at the box office. They're not breaking. They're not getting a return on these films that they're making any day anymore. And like I said, Disney has nobody to blame but themselves. And like I said, Rachel Zegler, she didn't help. And I'm sure there was people who didn't like Gal Gadot just because of where she was born, which is a stupid reason to hate anybody. It just and it's just sad how a conflict like that has anything to do with the entertainment world. That people can't put their political views aside for 2 minutes for a couple of hours just to enjoy a film. Now we have to connect, and this is the problem with the entertainment industry. You see it in motion pictures, you see it in television, you see it in, like, I'm a gamer now. You see this in the gaming industry now, and comic books and all this stuff. Politics is being injected into everything, and it just sucks that it has to. Well, it doesn't have to be that way, but it just sucks that it is that way. You have this horrible distribution of people who are they put their activism over the art. And my question is, why are you in this field then? If you want to be an activist and go marching in the street and waving your flag so hard, then do that. Why are you going into the entertainment industry to inject this stuff that doesn't need to be in there? I mean, we all turn to entertainment to get away from that stuff. Entertainment is the ultimate escapism. You know, whether you are a film buff or you just like watching some television, and or if you're a gamer or if you like reading comic books and stuff like that. It's just sad that I never thought in my wildest nightmares that the entertainment industry would get this bad. If you go back to the golden ages of Hollywood, watching the old Hitchcock films and Howard Hawks and the old arcade studios and stuff like that, or even Oscar Micheaux, all of the stuff in the Chitlin Circuit and all of the old stuff, or just playing the old video games like 30 years ago. Like, I don't know who the hell saw this coming. I didn't. And because like I said, man, look, let me go back. Like, Rachel Zegers, she is a beautiful girl, a woman. She is beautiful and she is talented. But it just, like I said, man, she's just a part of this, brigade of just hateful, just woke, brainwashing. I don't know what you call it, but it's just not nice. It's okay for you to have your beliefs and stuff like that, but the world of entertainment doesn't need to hear that mess. And that just lets you know how much of a bubble people in Hollywood live in. They honestly believe that their fans and people who watch this stuff and people who help them make money, they honestly believe that all of us think the way that they do. And we don't. But like I said, I can go on and on about this, y'all, but I just wanted to put my 31 cents out there like I always do, man. Because like I said, a lot of people were talking about this. This film is the talk of the town right now, and I guess like I said, I knew that it wasn't going to break even. I don't know, like the article said, give us another weekend, maybe it'll do something, but I don't know. I damn sure don't think it's going to cover the budget, because that's the point of films. You want to get back what you put into it, and if you and what they say, 270 million, that's how much it costs. Ain't no way in hell they're making 270 million. Ain't no way in hell. But all right, y'all, man. 31 cents at it. Another one for the archives. It's your brother Bleak signing out. Until next time, you guys. Us.